It was February 18, 2001, at the Daytona 500, the biggest race in NASCAR. On the track, a legend was fighting with everything he had, not just to win but to protect his teammates and family. But as the roar of engines faded, the entire NASCAR world plunged into a deadly silence. Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, was gone forever. That win meant so much, and to have it, and to not be able to share that with Dale today. After more than 2 decades of silence, Darrell Waltrip, the man who witnessed it all from the commentary booth, finally reveals Dale Earnhardt's haunting last words before that fateful crash. Those words not only change how we view Dale but also shed light on his true self, a father, a friend, and an irreplaceable legend. Join us as we revisit the story of Dale Earnhardt, his unique relationship with Darrell Waltrip, and what really happened on that fateful day. Who is Dale Earnhardt? Dale Earnhardt was not just a great racer, he was a timeless icon in NASCAR and American culture. To understand why the name Dale Earnhardt is mentioned with such reverence and intense emotion, we need to go back to where it all began, a peaceful little town in North Carolina, where he was shaped to become a legend. Born on April 29, 1951, in Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt grew up in a family deeply passionate about motorsports. His father, Ralph Earnhardt, was a renowned local racer known for his exceptional driving skills. But despite being surrounded by an environment tied to speed, Dale did not receive encouragement from his father. Ralph worried that racing would not provide stability for his son. However, Dale's passion was unstoppable. From a young age, he would sneak into his father's garage to learn how to repair cars and even teach himself to drive on old, worn-out vehicles. It was the beginning of a journey filled with challenges but also immense inspiration. As he grew up, Dale Earnhardt was determined to pursue his dream of racing, even if it meant dropping out of high school. His early career was far from easy. Dale started with local races, where he struggled to find opportunities and faced financial hardships. But his resilience paid off. In 1975, Dale Earnhardt made his debut in the NASCAR Winston Cup at the World 600 race in Charlotte. Although he didn't achieve a remarkable result, his bold style quickly caught the attention of professionals. By 1979, Dale had won the Rookie of the Year award, marking a significant milestone in his career. Just 1 year later, in 1980, Dale Earnhardt clinched his first NASCAR Cup Series championship, becoming the only driver in history to win the championship immediately after receiving the Rookie of the Year award. This was when Dale began establishing himself as an unstoppable force in NASCAR. His driving style, bold and unafraid of collisions, earned him the nickname, the Intimidator. On the track, he wasn't just a great driver but also a cunning strategist, willing to do whatever it took to outmaneuver his competitors. But Dale Earnhardt wasn't just famous for his racing skills. To fans, he embodied resilience and a never-give-up spirit. Despite his tremendous success, Dale maintained a simple lifestyle. He regularly interacted with fans, taking the time to sign autographs and take pictures, making himself a hero in the eyes of millions. The image of Dale's black Chevrolet No. 3 wasn't just a symbol of speed but also a representation of strength and determination. Throughout his nearly 3-decade-long career, Dale Earnhardt won 76 races and 7 NASCAR Cup Series championships, equaling the legendary Richard Petty. But for Dale, success wasn't just about titles, it was about inspiring the next generation and completely changing how people perceived NASCAR. He wasn't just a racer, he was a cultural icon, a living legend of America's working class. Dale Earnhardt was a symbol of strength and perseverance. But on the track, not everyone was willing to back down before the Intimidator. Among his toughest rivals, Darrell Waltrip emerged, not only to challenge Dale but also to forge a relationship filled with tension and quiet respect. What happened when these two legends collided? Let's uncover the story of this rivalry and unexpected friendship. Earnhardt and Waltrip, rivalry and respect. The relationship between Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip is a deeply human story in NASCAR history, where two strong personalities collided, competed, and ultimately found profound respect and friendship. Throughout their careers, they not only delivered thrilling races but also built a relationship that was as complex as it was emotional, leaving an indelible mark on fans. From the beginning, Earnhardt and Waltrip stood out as two of NASCAR's brightest stars but in entirely different ways. Earnhardt, nicknamed the Intimidator, cultivated the image of an aggressive racer willing to take risks to win. He raced with a singular focus, finishing first, regardless of the opponent. Waltrip, on the other hand, was a symbol of wisdom and strategy, renowned for his ability to read situations and calculate every lap to ensure a safe and effective victory. These contrasting styles not only defined their careers but also made their clashes all the more dramatic. Their on-track collisions often became the center of media and fan attention. One of the most memorable incidents was the 1985 Richmond race. While fiercely competing in the final laps, a sudden collision took them both out of the race. A furious Waltrip criticized Earnhardt on live television, calling him too aggressive and disrespectful. Earnhardt, as usual, shrugged it off with a smile and focused on the next races. To him, everything that happened on the track was just part of the game. However, their on-track conflicts were sometimes resolved with moments of unexpected humor. Waltrip once recalled a story about crashing into a wall during the 1995 All-Star race, suffering injuries severe enough to break 3 ribs. Immediately afterward, he approached Earnhardt and asked, "What were you thinking?" Dale coolly replied, "What were you thinking trying to pass me?" And then, with a mischievous tone, he concluded, "Hope you learned your lesson. Don't ever try to pass me on the outside again." Earnhardt walked away as if the incident was just a casual lesson. But their relationship went beyond rivalry. Over time, their clashes gave way to mutual respect. Waltrip began to see Earnhardt not just as a reckless driver but also as a sincere and devoted friend. In an interview, Waltrip shared how every Christmas Eve, Earnhardt would call to wish him well. One year, he didn't call. "I thought I must have missed it," Waltrip said. "At Daytona, I asked, 'Did you call me on Christmas Eve, or did I miss it?' Dale just smiled and said, 'I don't need to call you every year,' and walked away." That was Dale, private but deeply caring. Another story illustrates Earnhardt's quiet kindness. During a race at Martinsville, Waltrip's car suffered serious tire issues and couldn't continue without repairs. While everyone assumed Earnhardt, who was leading the race, wouldn't care, he quietly paid for Waltrip's team to get new tires, allowing his rival to return to the track. Earnhardt never mentioned it, and Waltrip only learned about it years later. "That was Dale," Waltrip said. "He didn't need people to know about his kindness. He just did the right thing." Behind his fierce on-track persona, Earnhardt was a simple man with deep emotions. In a joint interview with Waltrip, Earnhardt admitted, "We've argued a lot, collided a lot, but that's part of the game. Darrell is a true champion, has a great family, and I respect him. Don't talk too badly about me, all right?" Those words revealed the understanding and appreciation Earnhardt held for Waltrip, one of his greatest rivals. Their friendship grew even stronger after both had passed the peak of their careers. Tragically, Waltrip never had the chance to fully express his feelings to Earnhardt before his passing. Earnhardt's death in the catastrophic crash at the 2001 Daytona 500 left a significant void in Waltrip's heart. The tragic day at Daytona 500, February 18, 2001, was more than just an ordinary NASCAR race. It was the season-opening event where the world's best drivers competed on its most iconic track. No one could have predicted that on that day, NASCAR would lose one of its greatest legends, Dale Earnhardt. For Dale Earnhardt, the 2001 Daytona 500 was not just another race but a testament to the caliber of the team he had built. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, 2 of his team's cars, driven by Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr., were leading the race. But Dale wasn't just racing for himself. He played the role of protector, ensuring his teammates' victory. Before the race, Earnhardt told his team, "Today, we race not just to win but to prove Dale Earnhardt Incorporated is the best team out there." As the final laps unfolded, tension on the track reached its peak. Michael Waltrip led the race, followed closely by Dale Earnhardt Jr., while Dale Earnhardt defended their positions from the drivers behind. Sterling Marlin, Kenny Schrader, Rusty Wallace, and others pushed hard to overtake, but Earnhardt, with his extraordinary driving skills, held his ground, protecting the formation like a warrior on the track. In the final lap, all eyes were on the battle for victory. Then, in a moment of destiny, Sterling Marlin made slight contact with the rear of Dale Earnhardt's car. The number 3 car spun out of control, crashing hard into the wall at turn 4. To the spectators in the stands and watching on television, the collision initially appeared routine, a familiar sight in motorsports. But moments later, silence fell over the track. The atmosphere at the Daytona 500 was electric, and in the Fox Sports commentary booth, Darrell Waltrip was witnessing one of the most memorable moments of his career and life. His younger brother, Michael Waltrip, was nearing his first-ever victory at the Daytona 500. To Darrell, it felt like a dream come true. As Michael crossed the finish line, Darrell couldn't contain his pride and excitement, shouting live on air, "Michael did it. He did it." His voice broke, overwhelmed with happiness. But that joy lasted only a few fleeting seconds before everything changed. In that moment, Darrell glanced back at the track, searching for the familiar number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt. It was a sight he had been following throughout the race, the car of his friend, former teammate, and an indomitable icon of NASCAR. But now, that car wasn't moving. It lay motionless against the retaining wall, an image that made Darrell's heart stop. At first, he tried to reassure himself. This wasn't the first time he'd seen a crash. Earnhardt had been in numerous accidents before and had always walked away smiling, with that nonchalant demeanor as if nothing had happened. But this time, it was different. There were no signs from Dale. He remained in the car, still, silent, unmoving. Darrell fixed his eyes on the screen, desperately looking for something to hold on to, but the more he watched, the deeper his concern grew. His voice on air, once filled with joy, began to give way to anxiety. "Oh no, look at Dale. Look at Dale's car. I hope he's okay." Yet, deep down, he felt that something was terribly wrong, a heavy feeling he couldn't put into words. Seconds ticked by, and Darrell couldn't take his eyes off the image of the number 3 car lodged deep into the retaining wall. He watched as the medical team approached the car, but there was no movement from Dale. His heart felt as if it were being crushed. Memories of Dale flooded his mind, the man he had raced with, battled fiercely for every position on the track, and had heated conflicts with, but also shared unforgettable moments with off the track. The fierce races, the intense crashes, and even the handshakes after the battles all surged back into Darrell's consciousness like a powerful wave. Darrell knew that Dale Earnhardt was more than just a colleague. He was a friend, a symbol of greatness, someone Darrell deeply respected, even when they were fierce rivals. He remembered a Dale Earnhardt who was relentless and strong but also a man with a big heart, always caring for his family, friends, and his team. And now, that image was being challenged before his eyes in a moment of haunting silence. As the broadcast continued, Darrell struggled to stay composed, but his emotions were close to erupting. He understood that the truth was becoming painfully clear, but he didn't want to believe the worst. "I didn't want to believe that we had lost Dale," he later shared in an interview. "But when I saw the medical team, when I looked at their expressions, I knew I had just witnessed a tragedy." Darrell's emotions that day weren't just the pain of losing a close friend, it was also a sense of helplessness, as if he had just witnessed the soul of NASCAR leaving this world. To Darrell, Dale Earnhardt wasn't just a driver, he was a symbol, the embodiment of everything beautiful, powerful, and genuine that the sport represented. Darrell would later say that the moment he saw the number 3 car motionless was one of the most painful moments of his life. "I've seen so many crashes, so much heartbreak on the track, but this was different. This was Dale. He wasn't like anyone else, and when he was no longer there, it felt like NASCAR had lost its heart." What made that day particularly heart-wrenching wasn't just the crash itself, it was the final words Dale Earnhardt spoke, words filled with meaning, as if he knew he was about to enter his last race. Words that, for over 2 decades, Darrell Waltrip had kept to himself, until today. That day at Daytona Speedway, the atmosphere was electric, yet Dale Earnhardt seemed unusually calm. Those who knew him well noticed the change. Gone was the fiery intensity that defined his racing persona. Darrell Waltrip, his friend and longtime rival, recalled a brief yet unforgettable conversation before the race. "Dale told me, 'I just want to see Michael win today. That's all I care about.'" It was an uncharacteristic remark from a man known for his relentless drive to win. On that day, Dale's focus wasn't on personal glory, it was on his team and those he cared about. His demeanor struck everyone. Team members noticed he spent extra time with them, offering hugs and heartfelt words, as though savoring every moment. "He wasn't himself," one member shared. "It felt like he knew something we didn't, like he wanted to enjoy every second." Before the race, Dale left his team with powerful words, "Race like it's the last race. Get Michael and Dale Jr. to the finish line first. That's what matters." To Darrell, Dale seemed different, not just as a competitor but as a friend. "He talked to me in a way that felt final," Darrell said, his voice trembling. "I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back, I think he knew. He was ready to give everything for his team, no matter the cost." Dale's final words weren't merely a racing strategy, they revealed the depth of his character. A man who had spent his life chasing victory on the track now placed the happiness of his teammates above his own ambition. For Darrell, Dale's team, and millions of fans, those words became a lasting memory, a testament to his selflessness and love for those around him. Tragically, during the final lap, Dale's car collided with the wall in a fatal crash. The crowd and viewers at home didn't immediately grasp the gravity of the moment, but in his loss, Dale's legacy grew even larger. His passing catalyzed safety innovations that have since saved countless lives in the sport. Beyond his achievements on the track, Dale Earnhardt's true legacy lies in the lives he touched and the hearts he inspired. His spirit lives on not only through his victories but in the enduring impact of his final act of devotion to his team and his fans. Dale Earnhardt's legacy transcends his legendary career, reshaping NASCAR with a profound impact on safety, resilience, and fan loyalty. His tragic death in 2001 became a turning point for the sport, leading to sweeping safety reforms. Before Earnhardt's passing, safety in NASCAR was often overlooked, despite frequent severe accidents. His loss forced a reckoning, resulting in significant advancements like the mandatory use of the Hans device, which protects drivers' necks and heads during collisions. Previously optional, this innovation has since saved countless lives. Similarly, safer barriers, designed to absorb crash impacts, have reduced injuries. While the introduction of the car of tomorrow brought stronger chassis and advanced safety features, embodying a commitment to driver protection, these changes, born from tragedy, reflect Earnhardt's enduring spirit of innovation and determination. Earnhardt's influence goes beyond safety measures. Known as the Intimidator, his aggressive racing style symbolized unyielding willpower. Iconic moments, like his victory at Talladega with a battered car, showcased his relentless drive, inspiring drivers and captivating fans worldwide. His iconic number 3 remains a timeless symbol of loyalty and passion, with fans still gathering annually at Daytona to honor him, waving flags bearing the number. Earnhardt's legacy also lives on through his son, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who followed in his father's footsteps while carving his own path. Dale Jr.'s 2004 Daytona 500 victory, just 3 years after his father's death, was a poignant tribute to Earnhardt Sr.'s enduring presence, as if guiding his son every lap. Off the track, Earnhardt was a unifying force in the NASCAR community. From securing major sponsorships to expanding NASCAR's television presence, he brought the sport closer to fans and elevated its status. To Earnhardt, NASCAR was more than competition, it was a family, and he worked tirelessly to strengthen its bonds. Decades after his passing, Dale Earnhardt's spirit remains alive in every race and every fan's heart. He didn't just change NASCAR, he defined it, teaching us the true meaning of resilience, courage, and legacy. His story, immortalized by his impact and the memories he left behind, ensures his name will forever echo as a legend in the history of NASCAR and beyond.